Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a discourse on personality and competency. Discourses are different from a training program. Training program make you feel you're enriched. Discourses make you feel you're changing. It's a slow process of change, but a very vital process of change. Discourses. So, what mothers hold before you is a discourse, what father holds before you is a discourse. When you go for a skill training, it is a training. When you go to a school, it is a subject discussion, not a discourse per se. Discourse is a different technique. I can say it is for more mature audience. It is for creating a higher efficacy of communication. It is creating an abundant sphere of learning. It is ionization of the environment of your thinking. Ionization of the environment of thinking. It is like creating a halo around you. So potency of discourses is different. Of course, the potential of the listener also is different if he is to attend a discourse. It will require a much more adult, much more committed intellect to go through discourses and create a new polarization. Training programs, since I have been into training for at least 2 decades, I realize that it's a contact profession. It's like an external medicine. Discourses certainly is, and I promise, and I claim it is, and I promise that it will be like that. It's for the inner vital change. Therefore, in Gurukul system, we don't want to stand before you with a PowerPoint presentation. That's professional. That's professional. So training is like a contact profession. It's a hospital care and not self-care. It's an external medication, not a self-medication. And the best self-medication is that may you never need a capsule, an injection. That's a self-medication. The best part of self-doctoring is that you see something walking into you years in advance, days in advance, moments in advance, and correct yourself. You might apply self-doctoring in a emergency driving situation, an emergency road crash situation. You might use it for driving away incoming diseases. Of course, diseases being diseases will catch up with you even when you're not responsible for it. It's a much larger regression. And it will be a power regression. From state, the assortment of personality traits, which we talked about very briefly, it's not a brief subject at all. It's not a brief subject at all. If you look at a periodic table, what do you see? We not only see so many elements being listed there, but we also see internal relationship between how these elements are listed and how the rows and columns are there. The metals, the metalloids, the salts, There are metals and there are metalloids, there are gases, there are groups. So there you are, the state. We are looking at the horizontality, we are yet not looking at the verticality. Before we look at the verticality, I want to give you a pleasant surprise. I want to give you a pleasant surprise. For it is not just a state. It is not just a state. It is also an estate. Estate is not just a commercial proposition. It could be a romantic proposition also. It could be a poetic proposition also. It could be philosophical proposition also. It could be metaphysical proposition also. Proposition as in how you propose. How you propose to use it. One Mr. Xavier, the Chief of Finance, Treasury, walks into the MD's offices. Here I announce we have about 22 CR surpluses. So he calls the planning team and he says, how do you propose to use this 22? Or should we keep it in abeyance, or should we park it in more profitable ventures than what our company does? Do we have a chance to invest it in more prosperous undertakings? How do you propose? So propositions, they're poetic propositions, they're philosophical propositions, metaphysical propositions, they're commercial propositions, what have you. So your state will soon be an estate depending on how you conceive the idea of your state. And where is it born? Where is it born? The reference is a beautiful thing. A psychologist once was telling me that we have got two eyes and two references, therefore. We can always cross-check our vision, the quality of a vision, the quality of an interception of the object, by closing one eye in case we are not too satisfied. So you can see, okay, both eyes, I see the same thing. So it's, double integration of the facts. We seek reference, isn't it? Many times trainers like us or communicators like us, somewhere in the middle, they look deep into the eyes and say, what's the expression? Am I with you? Am I with you? A cross-reference is required many times. So the left eye and the right eye, both functioning on their own, we do not realize that because after a distance there is overlap of the scene, but few things we want to see closely enough for us to believe the thing exists. It is not an illusion. The further it is, the more chance of illusion it is. The closer it is, less chance of illusion. Suppose you meet a stranger in the garden, it might look like an illusion, but if somebody has met you in your drawing room, sitting next to you, the proximity is there. Probably somewhere, you exchange the hello. Somewhere, there was a little touch here and there. Somewhere there was a space creation. Somewhere, you inadvertently, hit your the tip of your shoe, hit the other person with the tip of your shoe. These are all examples of proximity, and they're going to build a confidence. So we have a cross reference with simple two eyes. We got 2 years also. Okay, in a seminal position of a crime, you want to snatch something with your right hand, but the left hand holds it. The left hand holds it. We have two brains, left and right. So that reference is a beautiful addition to our capabilities of performing better and making sense out of it. There are umpteen number of events where we want to use both hands. Both hands, double conviction. So that horizontal thing is now being looked at from the angle of estate, and which is the collaborating factor? Which is the collaborating factor? Suppose one is the right hand, which is the collaborating factor? The collaborating factor is now your intellect, your ability, your opportunism, your creativity, your intelligence, and how you use it. And it's all happening for you, within you, at you, inside you, into you. What a great picture you're seeing. What a great picture I get to see. It's all happening inside you, and you're the doer and the done. The better the done, the better the doer. Better the doer, better the done. I don't see a more classic example of partnership and confluence. A better example of earthly and ethereal. A better example of the soul and the substance. A better example of the human being and the Almighty. This state is now going to be your estate. And how does it translate socially? Well, it's irony. After all this talk, I have to relate something to a social plane of communication. It's irony. I'll accept the challenge. Don't you have people who there's a crowd of friends around you, and then you say, well, he's a leader, or he's a dashing man, he's an inventor, he's a creative, he's an artist. So he's a painter, he's the doer, he's the thoughtful man, he's a wise man. Don't we say that? In ordinary conditions, he was just Xavier, he was just Roy, she was just Annie. In ordinary circumstances, these were the situations. So those ordinary people suddenly become resource. They're put to use. Resource. The value goes up. It's like a share worth 10 rupees for 10 rupees. And somebody starts buying it, so it becomes 11, 11.50, 12, 15, like that. The more it's put to use, the more the value of the share increases. The share is metaphoric. It's very cunning use of the morphology. A very cunning use. Share is equal to your value gradation. And somebody buying a share means you are being utilized. So, hey you, Mr. Satyam. Hey you, Mr. Fighter. Hey you, Mr. Boxer. Hey you, Mr. Gandhi. Hey you, Mr. Napoleon. Hey you, Mr. Beyond Bog. From state, you're now traveling to being a state. Wonderful. Wonderful. And we just about talked for roughly 2 hours. Just about talked for 2 hours. You are now made a state, and from state, you are being encouraged to being a state. And don't hate that word estate. It is not just commercial. I told you about being a poetic estate, a creative estate, a musical estate, a philosophical estate, a metaphysical estate. a money estate, a land estate, the security estate. Doesn't the mother, a 22-year-old young mother, was so scared of people, so scared of darkness, suddenly take the child to herself, and give the child a feel. Boy, you don't have to go anywhere. I'm with you. You, mother, the child might ask, you, mother, the other day you were so scared if the power went off, so you're so scared you almost cried, you shouted for help. Somebody asked you a question, somebody talked to you, you suddenly became so nervous. The same you, mother, same you. Are you? Same you. Are you? Now forget all that. Now it's me, the mother, your mother. You don't have to go anywhere. That's the estate of confidence. Now the persona of confidence, the caretaker's persona, has evolved. So from a position of being very scared, very insecure, she now starts offering him security to the little one who cannot communicate. But just when you take him too close, he tries to look at you with one eye, like that. From state to estate. So from a caretaker, now you can become an estate manager. Estate manager. Everywhere on that estate, your name is written. There's nobody else, only your name is written. And it is so pure, so original, that it's come with you. It'll come with you. It'll die with you. It will come with you. It will die with you. It is so pure. It will come with you. It will die with you. There is no mutation of that estate. There's no mutation of that estate. If somebody decides to own it, it's a big liability because he can't be like you. Had it been so easy, life would have been so different. It's not easy at all. A young mother, a young woman becomes a mother. So she copies her mother. But that's a bad copy. Most of the time. Most of the time it's going to be a bad copy. Therefore I maintain that mother was a mother. She became a mother on her own in the circumstances, and she expressed herself as a mother. This mother is a mother. She was born in entirely different circumstances. Her delivery methods are extremely different. Her child is different. This child was different. So it's very proprietary execution, proprietary creation. The proprietary execution of personality trait is a big, long thesis. Whatever little I know about that, I'm going to share that with you. But the proprietary execution of the traits, it's ironical, it's funny, it's amazing, it is frightening also. It is debasing also. It's daunting also. It's creative also. It's artistic also. The proprietary execution of traits. Execution has two meanings. One is to kill. The other one is to perform. I'm looking at performing part of the execution, because otherwise in the state of high creativity, you might interpret it as an execution, which I don't mean to say in the context of having made that statement. So where are we? We are now estate managers. So may I sign a treaty with you now. Treaty with you now. Look, dear all my friends. Look, my sons and daughters and my friends and philosophers. Look, my dear, this is what I hand over to you. This is your estate. And from here on, you are an estate manager. I may have coaxed you into playing that role, but sooner than later, I believe you will play that role as your first choice execution. As your first choice execution. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I sign off for this episode. Till we meet again, good night, goodbye.